So where is our climate going from here? We have seen what the climate has been like over the last 18,000 years, over the last 1,000 years, over the last 100 years. We even saw a glimpse in our last video of what happened 600,000 years ago. Where are we going from here? Well, getting data for the future is a little difficult. We have to take what happened in the past, create equations and mathematical models that fit what happened in the past, and then extrapolate that into the future. So it is a challenge, but we've been able to do some. We've been able to do some modeling. Let me show you some of those projections right now. Here, the black line at the beginning is past data, stuff that's already happened. This bluish purplish line would be what would happen in the future if we get our act together and clean things up as quickly as we can. This red line would be if we keep on the same trend that we're on right now. You can see that if we slow down and stop, we'll plateau at a temperature about 1 degree Celsius hotter than what it's been the last 100 years. But if we don't, then our temperature will rise and will be between 4 and 4.5 degrees Celsius higher than what we were over the last 100 years by the time the year 2100 hits. And there are lots of models. Each one gives us a different result. And most of them, though, lie somewhere in this range. So it's really hard to predict future climates. Future weather is good for the next couple of hours, really good. For the next couple of days, decent. For the next week, weather is hard. How can you expect to predict weather hundreds of years into the future? It's tough, especially when there are so many uncertainties. Uncertainties like, what will the effect of water and land have on rising levels of carbon dioxide? And what will be the effect of other greenhouse gases? I'll give you one example. Water. You evaporate water. Water can do two things. One, it can stay as a water vapor and act as a greenhouse gas, warming the earth up. But if that water condenses, it forms clouds reflecting sunlight, cooling the earth down. And so the effect of water is still an uncertainty. And so there's the question of clouds here that I just talked about. You have positive feedback, which would be the increase of water vapor, and the negative feedback, which would be the increase of cloud cover. So there are a lot of uncertainties. But one thing is for certain, the Earth's temperature is increasing, and it's increasing faster than it should be, and it's not a good thing. So what are we going to do about it? We need to find ways to cut back on humans' hand in climate. So many countries met together in Kyoto, Japan, back in 1991, and set a series of goals that targeted car emissions and industry emissions. It produced a number of credits to allow people to produce a certain amount of pollutants, and it tried to find ways to sink a lot of these greenhouse gases and pollutants. These were some really nice and good ideas in how to curb the effects of global warming. They were put together, and it was called the Kyoto Protocol of 1991. Many, many countries did sign in, and yet it was a big failure. By the way, the United States has never signed into the Kyoto Protocol. Later on, we signed into a similar protocol that happened in Paris under the administration of Barack Obama, but we pulled out of it again shortly after that. And many reasons why the United States never did sign into Kyoto and pulled out of the Paris Agreement was because of the economics and the industry and the culture in the United States. In order to make all of these changes, you have to change the infrastructure of the United States itself, which is very, very hard to do. And so that's why the United States has never signed in. California, being a smaller area, a smaller group, they decided to go ahead and implement um, a lot of the targets and criteria that they established in the Kyoto Protocol. So California implemented those on their own, and they have made a huge difference, leaps and bounds in curbing greenhouse emissions in California.